Good afternoon. I'm Annabelle Sedano. We're following breaking news out of Oxnard. We see that there's a large group of what appear to be federal agents at a farm and a growing crowd. News Chopper 4 is overhead. Julia Dang, what can you tell us about what's going on here?
Annabelle, this is a quickly developing situation. We've been hovering over this for about half an hour. This is going to be on Laguna and Woods Road, right by that intersection. And you can see now these federal agents, they appear to be from CBP, Customs and Border Protection. You saw them running just now down Laguna Road, and it looks like they are chasing these workers. They were facing off earlier, these two groups, the federal agents and a large group of workers. And look at that. It looks like somebody just deployed a flashbang, a grenade of some kind. There was a protest underway here earlier, but that crowd was dispersed after tear gas or flashbangs, or both, were deployed. And the crowd has now dispersed, but you can tell by the number of vehicles still here, there are still people facing off with these federal agents. And I'm pausing here because I'm listening to what my pilot is saying to other pilots in the area. There actually is a Customs and Border Protection helicopter flying over this. And our picture is so blurry and we're zoomed out so wide because we're shooting this from about three and a half miles out. That is as close as we can get to this scene. But as I zoom back in, you can get a sense of the confusion and the anxiety here. You can see people spreading out now into this field. And Annabelle, as we were scanning the area right before we came on air, trying to get a sense of what's happening around here and how spread out people and vehicles are outside of this scene, we did notice farm equipment abandoned tractors and trailers all around here, and tow trucks actually coming in and towing some of that farm equipment out. But we did see people being detained near this facility, near this building, just south of where I was zoomed in earlier. And we're going to try our best to come around and get you a clear shot of what is happening in this parking lot. But you see more federal agents here. And it looks like they're walking more workers into this lot right now.
Julia, I see a lot of vehicles there. Can you tell us who these vehicles are? These for the workers or just other people that work nearby? I'm a little unclear here as to why there's so many vehicles in that surrounding area.
Well, Annabelle, it's just like many of these other immigration-related operations we've covered in recent weeks. When people hear about this kind of thing going on, and people on the ground have been live streaming this on various platforms, so many people have heard about this, and I believe activists, protesters, have actually come out here to stand in solidarity with many of these farm workers. So I believe many of these vehicles you see parked here on Laguna Road, again, just south of Woods Road, these may belong to protesters. But the people spreading out now into this field, they don't appear to be federal agents. I think this is a mix of farm workers and protesters.
Julia, you mentioned that some of the people were detained. Do you know how many? I'm not sure if that information has been released yet. How many of these workers were detained? And then you mentioned that equipment has also been abandoned.
We don't know how many people have been detained. You know, we're not getting much information confirmed. This is still very much an active, ongoing operation. We have tried talking to the pilots in that Black Hawk helicopter dispatched here by CBP. We have not confirmed any information with them either. All we know is we are not allowed to fly any closer to this scene. But from where we are, again, about 3.5 miles out from this farm, we can see federal agents on the ground in front of this armored vehicle, and you can see the flashing lights on that vehicle. But we're counting at least 20 federal agents here, and it looks like they are detaining more people.
You know, we should mention that, so there's Camarillo, Oxnard. These are both areas where there's a lot of farmland and a lot of farm workers that go to these areas, especially at this hour. Many of them are taking a lunch break. They get up so early in the morning to start picking, whether it be lettuce or fruit, berries, strawberries out in those areas. So these people have been working for many, many hours. And you said that you've been hovering over this area since what, around 11:30 or so?
At least half an hour at this point. We got here about 25 minutes after that Black Hawk helicopter was dispatched to this scene. And we have been hovering here ever since. And Annabelle, you talk about how long these workers have likely been out here and how hot it is this time of year. Earlier, we did see an ambulance pulling up here. We didn't see any patients being loaded up, but my first thought when I saw that ambulance and fire apparatus on this road, I was wondering if perhaps they had a heat exhaustion patient. But that's information that we're still working to get confirmed as well.
All right, Julia, if you can just stand by for a moment. Michael Brownlee is here joining me at the desk. But we want to get to Raquel Sanchez. She's a volunteer out there. She's on the ground. Raquel, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Raquel, can you just explain to us what you saw, what you know so far about what's been going on out there?
Well, this has been going on for like almost 3 hours, and I am a rapid response volunteer. I come on site to record and document, and basically the whole perimeter has been blocked off by ICE agents. They came in with heavy armored, outfits, trucks. I heard about buses. I haven't seen the buses myself. There is a report about a woman who was hiding in her car, and in this heat, that is really concerning. We haven't received confirmation about that yet. There is a woman out here because her husband is inside. She has her child with her who is less than 1 year old. She's in panic mode. I'm actually on my way back to check on her. I promised her I would do that. And the volunteers on one side of the area or the perimeter are blocking the whole entrance in hopes that they can block ICE from leaving. And it's just a horrible situation. People are scared inside. There's rumors about people not being allowed to use their phones, that these agents are wearing like heavy weapons like they usually do, and it's intimidating people not to use their phones. That guy that was at MacArthur Park, that guy with the big hat that let the mayor borrow his phone, he's out here running amok over here in our city now, and it's just a horrible sight. It's heart-wrenching.
Raquel, so if you can just set the scene for us. You said this has been going on for about 3 hours. Our Julia Dang up a news shot before mentioned that there was some type of protest that came before what we're looking at now. Can you set the scene for us and for our viewers?
Yeah, well, right now there is a full-on protest. People continue to arrive. Like I said, people are blocking the entrances. They have their signs. They are, saying things. People don't want this here. We don't want this here. We don't want people who are just going out for a day of work, and now they're being held hostage.
Raquel, so just to get this straight, was there a protest before ICE came into the picture, or did ICE show up? Did these federal agents show up, and then people started showing up to protest?
They showed up. People started reporting this to the rapid response line, and that is how volunteers get called out. The 805 UnDocuFund rapid response hotline, and we also have BC Defensa out here. So people call the rapid response line. People from the inside called about them being out here, and volunteers slowly started to show up, to document, to let people know about their rights, to videotape, and this just it's getting, people continue to arrive. Volunteers, community members, you can't tell who's who at this time.
Raquel, I don't mean to interrupt, but we talked about what happened in MacArthur Park. There were agents out near MacArthur Park a few days ago. Nobody was detained. What are you seeing there where you are? Are people being detained at this point? Are these farm workers who are being detained?
We haven't seen. I personally haven't seen. We're still waiting. We're still waiting for. We haven't seen any cars leave, any people leave. They are all inside. ICE is inside the building. The report is that people are all in one area unless they're hiding. And other than that, we don't know what's happening.
Here's the thing, and I can hear it in your voice, Raquel. This is, I can hear you're upset, and I can hear that you're nervous for all of the people that are there. Understandably so. These are people who have been working for many, many hours. These people get up early in the hours. My grandmother was a farm worker, so I know that.
Yes.
So these are people, many of these people are undocumented, and so now you have their family members showing up to this location. I'm assuming a lot of these people are also undocumented. Are they concerned?
Yeah, so I did. I talked to I talked to a worker who had been told to leave from another nearby farm, and I started when I arrived. He was my first contact to ask, what he had been seeing. He was undocumented, and he said, you know what? At this point, they can just take me. He said, but I am not leaving here. I want to know, what is happening in my community, basically. He was basically standing watch, taking video to document all of these things that he just didn't care for his own safety anymore. He was just worried about what was going on inside.
So Raquel, I just want to make sure when I asked you about whether anyone was detained or not, you weren't sure. You said they were all holed up in a building together. Are we talking about folks who were out there along with federal agents? Are they all in one area together?
That is what we are. That is the information that we are getting. That everybody is in a room with agents now.
And do we know?
We don't know what's happening.
Do we know that building, where that building is, or is it? What kind of building is this that they're in? Do you know, Raquel?
So I don't know if this is a break room, if this is part of the, like a greenhouse. I don't know.
What are you?
By the time.
What are you telling these workers or these families that are showing up that are concerned?
Well, the woman that I spoke to, I first of all, I asked her if she was documented, because if she was not documented, she probably should not be there. I told her to call her lawyer because she had a lawyer. I asked her if she had a lawyer. I told her to put them on the phone. The lawyer, she put them on the phone. They just advised her that if her husband got, arrested, he should just not sign anything and ask to speak to his lawyer. But that was about all she got. And just asking, there wasn't a lot of. It sounds like it's more like family that's coming, and more about volunteers that are coming to protest. But this woman with her baby, she will not leave. She will not leave.
So we see a number of emergency vehicles there. As we look at a video that was shot earlier today, I see a fire unit. I see a paramedic out there. Are we getting reports? You're our boots on the ground. Are we getting any reports of any injuries, anyone being taken away in either one of those vehicles?
No, there was reports of them arriving, and up to this point, I can check my messages, but up to this point, there wasn't any report of anybody being taken away. But I would not be surprised because, like I said, the heat and the conditions. We don't know how many people are hiding in their cars. We don't know, if people are having panic attacks, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody was taken, but to this point, we still do not know.
Raquel, if you can tell us, so as I've been mentioning, Camarillo, Oxnard, these are neighboring cities where we see a lot of farmland there. A lot of these workers go to these particular areas to work. Many, I mean, hundreds of people show up to work for many hours, and they start very early in the day. Is this, I mean, how have you heard of any other raids going on in these areas?
Oh, all the time, all the time. They started with the farm workers, and it went on for weeks, where they were raiding, farms. They raided one out here, like in Santa Paula, in Oxnard, and we're talking about, like, you know, a big raids. And there was one. I don't know the details about this one, but yes, we're seeing this all the time, all the time. It's been going on for weeks. These are targets. They are targeting the most hardworking people that these are not the criminals that said would be targeted. These are people, like you said, you know, they don't have another choice but to come to work. They can only miss so much work before their family starts going hungry, being unable to pay the rent, they barely are able to have ends meet with their work. And these are people that they don't have the luxury to miss the work, and they are just gambling, being deported on a daily basis. And this is who they are coming for. Over here, we're seeing it daily.
Well, we know that you were there this morning. There was a cry for other volunteers to block the road there from these, or I'm not going to say use the word clash, but again, to stand in opposition of the federal agents who were there on scene at this point. As a volunteer, what are you planning to do moving forward when it comes to this particular operation?
So I, for my own safety, and like I said, the safety of the other mother, I mean, I would advise, you know, against that. And so I just had to give myself space. I'm going back, but I need to be in a different situation. So after this, it'll be follow-up. It'll be follow-up with our council members, with our representatives, with the, you know, with the sheriff, with the police department, who constantly say they are here, are constantly saying that they are not collaborating with ICE, but when the community needs them, they are not out here to respond. This is a public safety issue at this point, and that I know of, they have not been on scene. And when they are on scene, what we have seen is the sheriff. I don't want to say BPD, but the sheriff. We have seen them basically act as bodyguards to ICE. They have not done anything for the community or to protect the community.